I don't know how to drive manual transmission, so this may be interesting.
This is going to be fun then. What a start.
All right, so Shmi, we're here driving a couple more collection cars, or a collection car. We had to pick the Viper today for a number of reasons. One, we're in Virginia, we're in Heartland, America, and two, because I have a mustache. I think it's very, very important that, you know, we accentuate where we are and how we look. So, we're in a Viper ACR.
Can I add a third reason?
Oh, a third reason.
Just because I'm from Europe and we don't get these in Europe.
That's true.
Like, it's an interesting experience. And we've got a massive 8.4 litre V10,
Yeah,
which is just...
plus horsepower. And the Viper, it's interesting for my... I grew up going to, you know, when my parents would buy a Jeep or when they would buy we had a Chrysler minivan at one point, with, you know, I think every family in America has at one point. We would go to the Dodge dealer and they would have a Viper on the floor. And, you know, growing up a car kid, that's where I would see cars more often than not, was a car dealership, and seeing a Viper in person. It always stuck with me as a kid growing up in the 90s. But this is, you know, the Viper gets a lot of hate, if you will, for the way it handles or what it represents, but this one is a little bit different, I think we could say. You know, very stiff, the downforce is incredible, the aero on it. Set the Nürburgring time at 7 minutes and 1 second, I believe, for rear-wheel drive. Manual transmission is quite incredible.
Because these were only 6-speed manuals.
That's correct.
Tell you what, it is pretty firm, isn't it?
It's a little firm. You can really feel it on this road, can't you? These roads are a little crowned, so this being a wide car, it's quite interesting as well.
You're like full concentration.
Yeah, like full concentration right now driving this Viper, but it really does, wave to the cows, really does handle these roads quite well, and the acceleration is quite nice.
So 645 brake horsepower, 640 pounds-foot, with a 6-speed manual, all to the rear wheels.
Yep.
It's basically a hooligan's machine, but it's obviously heavily downforce orientated with that massive picnic table on the back.
Yep.
Which is...
And the sound is quite lovely. The exhaust coming right outside the doors.
Yeah. It's really, a really deep V10 though.
Yeah.
Properly like thrown in driving down a tight twisty track that's bumpy.
It's a car that makes you laugh when you're driving it. And of course, being a wide road, we are really in these, or wide car I should say, we are really in this tight track right here. But, you know, should make note, we are on private roads.
Yes.
On this property, so we are able to open the cars up a little bit more than we typically would if we were on, of course, public roads. But, you know, I know we've said it before, we really do appreciate you coming, and it really, for me, it's a pinch yourself moment. I'm driving a Viper ACR with someone I've been watching online for many years, and here we are. So it's funny how our worlds have collided. And,
that's very kind of you. You know, I'm equally just delighted to be out here, to be experiencing the cars from the Audrain collection, and just to be enjoying what I think we all share in common, which is a passion for the automobile, a passion for cars of so many different categories and styles and types. And yeah, this is a pretty wild machine. But I tell you what, it's just screaming, take me to a racetrack.
It really is.
I'm amazed by how firm it is. It's really like, Yeah,
I mean, and you've driven one of these before.
Very briefly. I never made a full drive test video, so to speak.
Yeah.
Kind of less than we have already today, to be honest. But just a small flavor of it.
And is there, you know, in Europe, maybe a funny question to ask, but is there any sort of demand for a car like this? Like a Viper?
I mean, for sure there would be.
Yeah.
I mean, we have European equivalent, right?
Sure.
It's probably AMG.
Yeah, of course.
The AMG GT, the SLS. The SLS was kind of the European equivalent of this. And I mean, funny fact, when they were developing the SLS originally, they actually used Viper prototypes. so that they look like Vipers.
I did not
So
know that.
running out of the base of AMG in a Falterback, because the SLS was their first full in-house project.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, why are they testing Vipers? Well, obviously not an ACR, like, we were winding back a bit. Yeah, that was quite bumpy.
Yeah.
Winding back a little bit, but...
You know, because the big thing here in the U.S. is, you know, for cars that... I use Land Rover as an example a lot. You know, now with the 25-year law in the U.S., a lot of people import, you know, Defenders or Series Land Rovers. You're starting to see more Range Rovers, and they're selling them because the North American spec ones are so expensive. So I was just, you know, wondering if these would ever make their way at some point over to, you know, overseas, over the pond. I think you should drive it.
Should we have a little swap around?
Yeah, let's a little swap around. You don't have a mustache, but that's okay. We'll be good.
Am I still allowed?
You're still allowed.
Okay, good stuff. Just try and avoid the bumps. Okay, here we go.
All right, so we've switched up. Getting a little taste.
Get used to this
Like,
position. It's aggressive on the pedals.
it is.
Like super, super, super sensitive on the throttle pedal. Do not need a whole lot of movement in there. Whereas clutch has actually got quite a lot of travel.
It does. And when this thing gets going, I notice like it's shockingly powerful.
Just ease into it,
Oh yeah.
knowing how much we were jumping all over the place before.
I know it's hard.
Like that.
Like that. Yeah, it's hard to see on camera, but this suspension on this road, you feel every little thing.
It's so firm.
This is ridiculous.
Tram lines kind of everywhere. Pedals are also so close together.
Oh, I know. That's
You need racing shoes to drive this.
Yeah, properly.
Start drifting it around some of the corners.
I know it's one of those cars that you wouldn't be surprised if we ended up in a cornfield, right?
I'm going to try my hardest not to let that happen.
Yes. We gotta open it up.
I mean, officially it has traction control, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, we're gonna be all over
unofficially, yeah.
Unofficially, you're glued. I was white knuckling when I was moving.
You need to be concentrating so much driving it. It feels like a big old beastie.
And the windshield's so angled, and like my vision is looking right here under the windshield.
Yeah.
Essentially under the windscreen.
Well, like at the kind of the top of the windshield. Carefully does it here.
But you know, this is such an iconic car, Viper. And the first one is.
Yeah, that's reverse.
I love that the first generation of Vipers, they didn't have windows. It was almost like a Speedster. You know, it was like Speedster. You had to have a stick to check your fuel level.
This is where we just do a bit of.
Oh yeah. We can turn traction control off and do that too if you want.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's do it right here. Here, let's come
One
up.
press is reduced stability. Yeah, I'm just gonna so I can see the screen.
Yep. There we go. We'll do it right here.
That just sounds dangerous. There are trees either side.
We can do it at the end where there's no trees if you want. We'll do a little burn ski right here.
I'm like, just get a little taster for it. I've driven the car about half a mile.
But we're in a Viper. We got to do a burnout. We're
gotta do what you gotta do.
Let's do this. You know.
But yeah, where there are no trees, please.
Yeah.
I don't want to be responsible for come and get behind the wheel of a car from the Audrain collection, and within about 5 minutes, I've smashed it into some tree somewhere. Here we go. We're safe here.
Yeah, a little bit safer. We got some telephone poles, but that's. Ooh, yes, we laid down some rubber there.
I'm going to put traction back on, but I love that traction control is operated from the steering wheel because they know that you just want to be able to do it. You just want to kick it off and away you go.
I can't get over this
loud, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really, really kind of all-encompassing. So the side exit exhausts are right
Yeah.
beside us.
The cattle seem unfazed by this V10, though, I should say.
Yeah, they're just going about their day, you know, chewing on some grass, doing what they do.
Yeah, nice car.
I like the colours. Orange with the black stripe. Just looks as mean as the car is.
It is a great color.
There's a big bump here somewhere.
Yeah, there is. Let's see if we can get it.
No, no.
See if we can.
Oh, there we go.
I mean, it is a mental car.
Yeah, it's a really mental car.
I love cars that just make you laugh. And
I'm sure we should be somewhere a little bit, like with a bit more space, you know, a little bit smoother tarmac, more set up for the purpose.
This car's mental.
Down that road, it's like...
Do another burnout and I'll get it from like here.
Can we do a burnout outside? Okay. Bye.
that conversation, can we do a burnout?
Perfect. God, I love cars. Well, that was quite fun.
Quite fun.
Quite fun.
Jolly good fun.
Jolly good. But yeah, like I said, we appreciate you coming. A lot of videos going to be on your channel from your visit, and please like, subscribe our channel to see some behind the scenes with Shmee 150.
Well, thank you for having me.
You got it. Duck boat. Duck boat.
Are we going to go for a very quick run?
Yeah, we got to, obviously.